Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Bible in a Year 2021. We are on day 355, and we are reading through the first 6 chapters of Hebrews. The first 6 chapters of Hebrews. We're going to go to chapter 2 on this one. There's something really important here, and it's what we need to understand. We don't get to just come through the front door in this relationship and then sit down and relax for the rest of it. It is a matter of process. We've talked about that so much. It's a matter of relationship. It's a matter of growth. We always have to be growing, learning, increasing. Is what we're supposed to be doing. It's a maturing process, and if we're not maturing, there is something wrong. When a child stops growing, there's something wrong. When a child's mind stops maturing and developing, there is something wrong. And what happens is that when that happens, we, in our relationship with Christ, we're starting to fade. We're heading towards the place of death, is what's happening. And I've seen it in so many ways where people have been cut off. They've been broadsided in many ways, and they've decreased, and they decrease, and they decrease, and they decrease. And if they don't do something about it, if they don't start growing again, they will get to a point where they will start doubting whether Christ is real, or they will start doubting their experiences with Christ. It's just an amazing thing how sharp memories become foggy things, how excuses start to enter the mind, because the enemy will pick up on who is fading, and he will help, just like come alongside Eve there and question and plant those seeds. And so we have this thing. There's so much of God, there's so much of Yahweh for us to learn, that we don't have any excuse for stopping to learn. We have no excuse for stopping in our maturity, except that when we get lazy, except when we get distracted, and we fail to grow. We've all been there. We've all been there. No matter how passionate, on fire you have been at one time, sooner or later you've been distracted. Sooner or later you sat back. Sooner or later it's happened to you. You know what I'm talking about. And it has taken the Spirit really to kick your butt, to get you moving again. And so we find here in Hebrews chapter 2, where it's being written, this is why it's necessary for us to pay more attention to what we have heard, or else we may drift away from it. Now, he's taken what he's written previous and saying, this is why it's necessary. But instead of going back and looking at that, I just want you to consider just that possibility. It's necessary for us to pay more attention, to push in deeper, to go for more all the time. We talk about it all the time, going for more. We want increase. And it's not because we're stingy. It's because we know that this is life. We know that this is the process. This is what it's about. I want more of Christ. I want to be more in Christ. I want to be less of myself. I want less of my selfish ambition, and I want all of Him. And that's a lifetime we're talking about here. So, pay more attention to what we have heard, what we have received, what we've already received. Pay more attention to it, or else we may drift away from it. If you know anything about boating, if you don't tie your boat to that anchor place, you're going to drift away. Even though you found it, even though you're there, if you don't anchor yourself there, you're going to drift away. And that's what we have to do. The things that we have already learned, we have to anchor ourselves to those things. There's lots more to learn, but let's at least be faithful to what we have received already to this day. He goes on, if the message that was spoken by angels was reliable and every offense and act of disobedience received an appropriate consequence, how will we escape if we ignore such a great salvation? You can't save yourself. It's only through Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter. You can't be good enough for God. It's just, we're flawed. We're broken. We need the instrument of creation to make us whole again. It is only through Jesus Christ that this is possible. You can't drift away from him. You cannot fade away from him. You can't give up on that relationship with him. I'm going to leave it there. Please, if you found yourself drifting, if you found yourself less than what you were, then I encourage you, get back to what you have received so that you can get more. You guys be blessed, be encouraged. We'll catch up tomorrow.